Hey everybody, my name's Kyle, and this is the Untypical Heroes! I'm excited! We're playing For Shenanigans. It's a tabletop role-playing game. Let's jump right into this one. Last time, we met Mibs. He's our main character. He was in the Hyqueous Vaults, this cliffside, natural, half unnatural, maybe half supernatural, some other half that doesn't make any mathematical sense, but it doesn't have to, because it's a tabletop role-playing game. Some sort of a dungeon he finds himself in. And he had two hirelings, had, past tense, that's super important because they're no longer with us. One of the hirelings didn't even get a chance to get named. He got chomped in half by a water flick. If you're saying, Kyle, what's a water flick? You had to be there. The second individual, Kyle, ran off and ran into a whole bunch of eel men-like things who subsequently and immediately sacrificed him to their pseudopod god thing that they were worshiping. Mibs was able to make a quick escape. He snuck past them and found his way up a staircase into a dark hallway where he smells something cooking, and it does not smell like cookies. Now, Mibs took a beating. His health is down a little bit. His stamina is down a little bit. He's hurt and he's tired. He's old. He might need a break, so let's go ahead and give him one. In the land of shenanigans, we have new Toons too, not just old Toons. This is one of the new Toons. The new Toons are vibrant in their colors. They're chipper and they are ecstatic and they are always smiling. And here's one such new Toon. Her name's Andi. She's a stand-up comic. When we go to the rules, here we are. Our stand-up comic, the librarian wrote a nice 2-sentence summary for it. It says, revolutions have waged and wars have started at the behest of the comic. Comedians are important, right? Satire is important. We need to be able to poke fun at those individuals who are in perceived positions of power to show people that they're not inevitable, they're not invincible, they're not untouchable. And when we can poke fun at them and make fun of them, then we can potentially change people's perspectives of them. We can get some change done. That's exactly what stand-up comics do, and that's why Andi is important, and she's great. It says, yours is an aura that pulsates charm and charisma, seeping from the many jokes at your disposal. So we did the same treatment with Andi as we did with Mibs. We took that 2-line summary that tells us how to play this character, and then we made it into 2 tags that she can then utilize in-game to do stuff and things. Then she's got her stats, and we already said stats are just maths, and that's not fun for anybody. She's just got different numbers than Mibs. We roll different dice. Okay, cool, great. So, she is in Shenanigans. She's in the Toon Square in Shenanigans. And the people are worried. They're panicking. They know that Toons are going missing. They know that Toons are dying. They know that some Toons are being horribly murdered. And they know that the Loonium is draining from them, and they can feel it. And even if they couldn't feel it, they could see it. They can see that their hands are losing the colors that they once had, and they can feel the influence of it seeping away from them. Now, Andi, first thing in the morning, it's super early, right? The dew hasn't even gotten out of the Toon grass yet. And she's going to the Toon Square with all the other Toons and Shenanigans to hear the Gov'na speak. The Gov'na doesn't come to town so often, but when he does, usually draws a big crowd. Half of this crowd is angry at him because they're like, where is our Loonium going? What is happening? Why are we dying? And the other half just laps up anything that he says always and forever. So we got a mix of people here. So the Gov'na gets on stage with his impossibly tiny hands. He can't hold a megaphone or a microphone, but he talks really loud. He doesn't say much often, but he talks quite a bit. And so he gets on stage, and the first thing he says is, look at this Toon Center. Isn't it big and beautiful? And the stage that they have set up for him is right next to the newly established Toon Center, right? The Toon Center is used to build props faster than ever before. You snap your fingers, push a button, and then boom, you've got an anvil that you can drop on someone's head. It's impossibly big and even more impossibly loud with large whirring fans and clanging pipes. And it is anything but beautiful, but he insists that it is. The rest of the Toons think that it's an eyesore on the town, and they didn't want it there to begin with, but they don't usually get what they want. So the Gov'na spends an inordinate amount of time talking about this big, beautiful Toon Center. And that's pretty much all he has to say for about a half an hour. While this is going on, right, Andi needs some answers, and she's getting a little bit antsy. As a new Toon, she does not really like authority, right? She doesn't like to be told what to do. She wants to know the why behind it. She likes asking questions. And so that's exactly what she's going to do. She's going to find a Toon next to her, and she's going to ask a question, right? She is going to ask a question. She's going to use the move Learn More to ask questions, right? We're going to say that we are going to lean on a friend here. This is a friend. This is an acquaintance. We can say this. Yeah, why not? Let's move this paper out of the way here for us. And she sees Kylie. It's a Toon that she knows, okay? She knows Kylie. She knows of Kylie. Kylie always wants to hang out with her, and she always has an excuse why she can't. But in this instance, she needs Kylie's help, so she's going to be super friendly. Look at her put on the charm. So she walks up to Kylie. Kylie carries around with her, drags around with her this Loonium extractor condenser because she has Loonium deficiency disorder, and she can't get Loonium out of the air the same way other Toons can. So she needs this to help her out. She's a Toon jelly in this little Toon astronaut suit. So Andi says, Kylie, what is going on here, man? What has happened with these Toons? What can you tell me? What's going on with the Loonium? Let's find out how it goes. Now, she is going to roll intellect. Her intellect was a d6. Since she's leaning on a friend, we're going to roll a d4 instead. So let's see what this does for us. And we get a 4. It's a strong hit. Okay, that's perfect. That's great. That's exactly what we were looking for. No, it's not. I lied. That is not what we're looking for. Because in the Goldilocks system, a 1 and a 4 is a miss. This is horrible. This is actually the worst possible scenario that we could have gotten. Because we are looking for the middle numbers on that d4. We were looking for a 2 or a 3. So she missed, and we can't have that. Now, I learned my lesson last game. I'm going to go ahead and spend a stamina. Because I can spend a stamina right here. Where's our stamina? I can spend a stamina to re-roll a miss. Okay? Now, we're not just going to push a button and then do a thing. We've got to role play it. It's a tabletop role-playing game. So she says, what can you tell me, Kylie, about everything that's going on here? And Kylie is mad because she knows I ask you every single Thursday night if you're going to come over for board game night, and you always have an excuse. And now you want to know what I want to know? And Andi, being the stand-up comic, is going to tell some jokes, right? And she's going to say, hey, you know me, right? Busy as a bee, and any sort of bee humor she knows is going to humor Kylie. And it does. And Kylie giggles, and she goes, oh, I can't be mad at you. And we roll again, okay, with a different die, because forget this one. Here we go. And we got another 4. And this is horrible, okay? On a miss, the information you uncover, let's do this really quickly. We got Andi. Here is Andi. Her stamina is now down 1. She had 2. Now she only has 1 because we did re-roll that. On a miss, the information you uncover undermines your intentions or is uncomfortable. That sucks. Okay, so let's go to our that sucks table. When that sucks, the most obvious negative, make the most obvious negative outcome happen, okay? What is the most obvious negative outcome? I don't think that there is one right here. So we can roll on this table, okay? And we can figure out what is going to happen next. Now, while we get our dice ready to roll on this table, the Gov'na continues on to the next part of his spiel. And he says that there is no problem with the Loonium, right? And that makes her uncomfortable. That definitely does, because she feels the vibe kind of starting to switch in the crowd right now, right? His little mini-me's are going crazy, and they're cheering and jeering and everything. And the other people who see individuals dying from lack of Loonium are kind of getting upset, and they're saying, what is he talking about? There's no problem. He says, not only is there no problem with the Loonium, it's actually better than it's ever been. We have more Loonium because of me than ever before. And look at this beautiful Toon Center. And Andi can't take it anymore. She's got to kind of tune back out of that and then continue talking with Kylie. Now, we don't know what is going on here, so let's roll some dice and try and figure it out. We're going to roll a D100, a percentile die, and we're going to see what sucks about the information that she gathers from Kylie. And we rolled a 98, okay? On a 98, it's kind of offset right here. That's just a little formatting error. It says, a friend, companion, or ally is put in harm's way. So as this is going on, right, the Gov'na sees that maybe he's not getting the he's not getting the responses from the crowd that he thought. He wanted a lot more cheering, and he's starting to notice that some pitchforks are coming out. So he says, and it's the new Toons' fault. And he says, whoa, what? She goes, you just said that there's no problem with the Loonium. Now you're saying that there is a problem with the Loonium and that the Loonium is the new Toons' fault. She looks at herself and she goes, I'm a new Toon, right? Kylie's a new Toon. And that Toon over there is a new Toon. And she sees that there are individuals wearing masks and a bunch of armor, and they grab one of these new Toons and throw them into the back of a van. They smack the side of it, door shuts, and it peels off in a cloud of dust. If things weren't tense before, they are now. Some fights are starting to break out in the crowd. And the Gov'na says, fear not, for I brought my Toon squad. They're the most capable Toons that you are ever going to see, and they are going to get rid of these new Toons. They're going to take them where they belong. They're going to get them out of here. And all I need is your help to identify them all. Super easy to identify them. You could just look at their colors. They're a lot more vibrant than the rest of us because they're taking all of our Loonium. And he doesn't like the sound of that at all. And she gets grabbed and shaken. And she looks, and it's Kylie shaking her, right? And Kylie is screaming. She's like, they took him. They took him. And he says, what are you talking about? She said, they took my brother. Now again, Andi, she knows of Kylie's brother, Kylo. She knows Kylo, right? Here you go, Kylie. We got Kylie giving her information, and Kylo. Kylo got taken. And she can feel a quest coming on right now. She kind of rolls her eyes a little bit, and she goes, oh man, she's going to ask me to do something now. And Kylie does. She's going to get a quest move now. One of the systems that this game is based off of, For Shenanigans, is based off of Ironsworn. And in Ironsworn, the main kind of like purpose of the game is you swear oaths, you swear vows, and then you go on missions and quests and things of honor. And that is what Andi is going to do right now. She knows she got herself into this, but she also knows that she wanted answers, and this is probably the best way she's going to get them. She's got a quest move. I'm going to say that Kylo also has Loonium deficiency disorder, and the device that the Loonium condenser extractor device needs to be charged regularly in order to function. And Kylie tells her this and says, like, he needs to recharge his device. This is super important. So this is a critical mission, and I'm going to say that it's going to be difficult. So we are going to say, she takes her hands kind of off of Andi, and she says, can you please get my brother back to me? Or can you make those who did this pay? Right? Get my brother, find my brother, or make them pay, and make them pay, right? We want to make them pay too. Since it is a critical, difficult quest, we are going to say that it is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 boxes. So we have to complete 7 tasks to get this thing done, and there's going to be 15 zany gems or experience waiting for us at the end of it. Now we're going to roll presence to swear the oath, the quest to Kylie. If it's someone you've got a bond with, minus 1d to the roll. We got presence. Doesn't matter if we have minus 1 or not, because presence is our best stat. Okay? It's a d4. These d4s, I'm running out of d4s right now. They are not looking like the best for us. So let's roll it. And again, we got another 4. That's a miss. It says, on a miss, a significant obstacle stands in your way. Envision what it is, or call to the void, and then choose one. Press on is minus 2 stamina and do what you can to overcome it, or give up sorry sport. And it says check 1 box for every significant progress. We'll say that this might actually be our first significant progress, because we've got a huge significant obstacle in the way. And the obstacle is that first of all, let's mark our stamina. Now, we have to get rid of 2 stamina, and we only have 1, so we'll say that takes us down to 0. So we have no stamina left. Now, there is nothing in the rules that talks about a lack of stamina, like if you run out, what happens. So what I'm going to say is the additional stamina that we could have lost or should have lost, I'm going to take it off the health too. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I mean, I know it's a bad thing. I don't know if it's going to break the game or not by doing that. We're going to say that she's losing stamina and she's losing health because the significant obstacle in her way is that the Toon squad is now in the crowd, right? And they're grabbing individuals and yanking them and taking them away. And she sees an old Toon kind of point in her general direction and grab one of the Toon squad and look over there. And then she sees that the Toon squad individual gets his walkie-talkie and he points at her and she knows that they're coming for her, right? Kylie says, Andi, you got to get out of here. Run, right? and Andi does need to run. And as she's running, she's getting hit in the head, and like her sweatshirt gets like ripped and everything, and they're pulling on her, and crowd members are pulling to get her to the Toon Squad to turn her in because it's all her fault, right? This kid, this small child, is the reason why they're suffering, and everyone knows that. And then some of the other Toons that have a conscience are pushing the other individuals off, and they're grabbing them and saying, "Run, run!" Kind of like a scene out of Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. Where Charlie's trying to run, he's got the golden ticket, and people are just going just absolutely bananas around him. Now, Andi does know what she has to do, though. She does know what she has to do. She needs to go home first because, like any good student, she forgot her backpack today and everything in it. She has absolutely nothing. Now, she knows that she has to track down this van. And she needs a backpack in order to do that because all her supplies are there. So she makes her way through this crowd. Let's see if she can. We're going to do another adventure move and face adversity. This is going to be her running through the town square, the Toon Square, the crowd, and making her way down the back alleys and the streets to get to her house, her little Toon house. We're going to say that she's going to do, because we can pick anything to do dangerous or difficult tasks with. Her approach here is going to be agility, right? She's got a D8 for agility. So we're going to roll our fun-sized die here. And we got a 4. Finally, we got a good hit. So our D4 on a 4 or a 5 is a strong hit, okay? On a strong hit, you succeed with gusto plus 1 stamina. That is what I'm talking about, okay? She gets amped, right? Like the blood is flowing and she's pumping and she's running and she's booking and moving. She jukes somebody out and headbutts somebody else and makes her way to her house. Now, when she gets to her block that she lives on, and she starts approaching it, she notices that there's some black armored Jeeps driving through the neighborhood, and she sees people yelling and crying on the ground, and she knows that the Toon Squad has been here. Worse yet, when she gets towards her house, she stops at her neighbor's house and peels around the corner. She looks. They are at her house, and they are banging on the door saying, "We know you're in there." Now, she needs to get to her house, and there are a handful of Toon Squad that are there. How many are there? Let's roll a D8 again and just find out how many there are. There's 2. That's not that many, but there are more coming, okay? So there are 2 Toon Squad currently banging on the door of her house, and there are other individuals in and around the neighborhood coming. She sees her neighbor, right? She's friendly with her neighbor. She knows her neighbor. Her neighbor likes her. Every time she kicks the ball in old man Kylan's yard, he gets it back to her. He yells at all the other kids, but he has a soft spot for her, right? She tells some jokes to him once in a while, and they get along. So what she's going to do is she's going to go up to old man Kylan, and she is going to do me a solid. She's going to ask, "Do me a solid, old man Kylan's." So she approaches him, and he even sees her, and he's kind of surprised that you're here. She's like, "Andi, you got to get out of here. They are grabbing the new Toons. They are taking them. I don't even know where." And she says, "Old man Kylan's, listen, I got to get to my house because my backpack is in there." And he is like, "Child, what are you doing?" She says, "I need you to help me. Can you make a distraction so that I can get in there, get my backpack, and get out? They just took Kylo, Kylie's brother, and I got to figure out where they're taking him." Old man Kylan's he's old, right? I don't know how useful he's going to be here, but he might be. So she asks a favor. She's going to roll presence minus 1D if you have a bond with him. Her presence is already maxed out anyway, so let's go ahead and roll. Let me try and find another. Here we go. Okay, we got a 2. So we got a strong hit. He says, "Andi, not only am I going to do this for you, okay, on a strong hit, they do what you want or share what they know, take plus 1 stamina." That is what I'm talking about. We're right back up. So now we've got our maximum 2 stamina again. Not only is he going to do this and tell her what he knows, he's also going to give her an item. Right? He's going to give her a shake flashlight. He says, "Andi, this is a shake flashlight. You shake it, and if you look at it, it's kind of clear. You can see inside. It's transparent a little bit. There's actually a small magnet and a coil of wire, a little piece of metal in there. When you shake it and the magnet moves, we change the amount of magnetic flux through the coil, and we actually create an electromagnetic field. We can take that electric current, we store it in this battery over here, and you actually wind up," and she says, "Old man Kylan's, I didn't come for a physics lessons." And he goes, "Do you want the flashlight or not?" And she says, "Okay, fine. I'll take it. Thank you." So he gives her the flashlight. He runs over. He starts yelling at the Toon squad members. Get off my lawn. This is my house. What are you guys doing? You always be kicking your ball in my yard. They're confused because they're like, what is this old man talking about? It gives Andi time to slip in through the back. She climbs up through, climbs up a gutter or something like that. She's tiny. She can. Opens a window, get inside. She grabs her backpack. She can hear a ruckus starting to break out. More Toon squad members are coming in. She slides down the gutter. She's got her backpack and some supplies inside it. Doesn't have a whole lot of time to grab much, so she's just got what's in her backpack now. She looks around the corner and sees that old man Kylan's is face down on the ground right now with the Toon squad surrounding him, and they share kind of one last glance, and he kind of gives her a nod. She knows that she's not really going to be able to help him, and then he mouths one last thing to her, right? He helped her, and he shares what he knows. And he says, he mouths the words, the dark woods, right? Dark woods. And she knows dark woods. And he goes, cabin, right? So she sees dark woods and cabin that he mouths, and then he kind of just tells her to get out of here. So she knows she's got to go to the dark woods and find some cabin for some reason. And if she can do that, that's potentially where she's going to have some answers. She's going to figure out maybe where these individuals are taking everybody. So she is set in motion now to go a-traveling. It says, when you traverse the wilds of Shenanigans, set the difficulty below. I'm going to say this is a mid and challenging journey, right? It's a mid journey. It's challenging. We got 3 boxes. So right here is find the cabin in the dark woods. And we got 3 boxes, okay? We're going to roll intellect. If setting off from a community which you bonded, -1 to the roll. We'll say, yeah, okay. So from a D6, we go down to a D4. I got to find that D4 that was nice to me before. And it wasn't this one because we just rolled a 4. It says on a miss, which we're not even going to worry about that miss right now, because let's go ahead and spend one of those stamina, okay? And let's re-roll it. And it helped, okay? We got a 3. So we got a strong hit. So on a strong hit, you reach a checkpoint. If the checkpoint is new to you, envision it. We're going to say that this checkpoint is like a clearing in the deep, dark forest. So she's able to rest a little bit. She's able to, maybe eat some snacks that she's packed. It says you make a great time. Check 2 boxes at the cost of 1 stamina. Now, we don't have 2 boxes. We do have 1 stamina that we can cross off. Let's cross off 1 stamina. So now she's at 0 stamina. And she marked off 2 boxes, and she got to a checkpoint. We got to do it one more time, so let's roll one more D4 and see if we can get it. Or you know what? I really don't want to risk messing this up. Let's see if we can get another strong hit and just make it to our destination by spending 1 Loonium. We've only got 3, and our Loonium is our most precious resource. But we're under a time constraint right now, right? We've got to find Kylo before it's too late. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to spend this Loonium right now. So her Loonium, Andi's Loonium was at 3. Now it's only at 2. And we are going to arrive at the cabin. So now it says you made it. Upon filling up all the boxes when you go traveling, roll intellect. And then it's going to find out the type of situation that we're in. So our intellect now is a D6. So here's our D6. And we got a 3. 3 for a D6. Looks like it's going to be a strong hit. Now the dice are favorable. They just had to warm up. Sometimes that happens. So strong hit, the situation at your destination favors you. Either make another move or take +1 stamina. You know I'm taking that +1 stamina because now we are burning it like you wouldn't believe. It says on a hit, roll a D6 to see how much Loonium is in the area. And we got a 6. This place is vivid and bouncy. Your max Loonium is doubled. So our max Loonium is doubled. So we went from a 3 to a 6 maximum. Okay? We've only got 2 here. And that's nice. So she kind of gets reinvigorated right here. And the reason why is because of what this cabin is in the deep, dark woods. She comes up to this cabin, right? It's dark. She's been traveling pretty much the whole day. It's getting towards nighttime now, and she sees, kind of maybe some faint light coming from within the cabin. She approaches it. She starts to kind of get hit with an influx of Loonium. She says, "Whoa!" She's like, "I feel great right now." Right? Her colors, start to like they weren't really fading before, but they start to even become a little bit more bright than they were before. And she kind of warily comes up, and she's a little bit wondering what's going on here. But she comes up to the cabin. She goes to knock on the door, and as soon as she punches her hand towards the door, it opens. It creaks open. It creaks open. And as it creaks open, she's met with, right here, if we can do this, she's met with a rapier in her face. Shwing! And it's pointed right at her, almost touches her on the nose, right? And she sees this frog Toon. He says, "State your business," right? Now she's in a little bit of trouble. And now what you're saying, Kyle, that move said that this was a favorable situation. This doesn't seem favorable. Just hold on, right? Because behind this individual, there's an old individual, an old man. There's a lot of old people in the land of shenanigans, and they always come with the most information and wisdom. And this elderly individual says, "Gary, step aside. Step down, Gary. Right? Sheathe your sword, right? We know you like to poke it at people. Okay, it's nice. Put it away." And Gary does, right? He's kind of ashamed, and he steps back. And this elderly individual says, "Andi, we've been expecting you." She's like, "How did you know?" And he says, "Come on, have a seat." And when she enters the room, she sees that there's a few other individuals that have already taken seats. A very large individual that she recognizes from a Toon show that she used to watch when she was growing up, a cartoon superhero, and then an individual that's in pretty raggedy shape. He looks almost like a toy teddy bear, wearing some pretty heavy and worn-looking armor. And at that, she enters and has a seat, and that'll wrap us up for today. If you like what you saw, go ahead and hit that